የአባይ ውሃ ነው ጠበል የአባይ ውሃ ነው ጠበል ከኢትዮጵያ ገሬ ይፈልጋል ካርቱምንም ያበላል ግብፅም ምድር ላይ ያበቅላል የአባይ ውሃ ነው ጠበል ከኢትዮጵያ ገሬ
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Samson Tefera. I'm the co-founder of We Aspire and current president. I'll be your host for this event. Good afternoon again and good evening on where you are. A very warm welcome to the book launch and panel discussion on the Nile River and its geohydropolitics. We are delighted to have you here with us today, both in person and on Zoom. The Nile River is a topic that is very timely and relevant in today's world as we are facing increasing concerns about water scarcity and climate change. The Nile River is not only one of the world's longest rivers, but it's also a critical source of water for over 500 million people in the basin. We are excited to welcome you to the inaugural launch of the historic book titled How This Happened, Demystifying the Nile History and Events Leading to the Construction of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam called GERD. Written by Dr. Dereja Tesema. Dr. Tesema is an adjunct professor at the Georgetown University School of Continuing Education and research fellow at the Nile House. This book is a significant contribution to the understanding of the Nile River and its complex history and geopolitics, providing an in-depth analysis of 6 domains that shape the region. The dominants include the history and the geopolitics on the Nile River, treaties, agreements, and exchange of notes among colonial powers and riparian countries. The science of the Nile River basin, what the Nile means to riparian countries, depicting how each country, culture shaped by the river, the project management aspect of the GERD Dam, and the author's recount and of his expedition from the source to the mouth of the Nile River. We believe that the book will be great interest of anyone who is interested in the history, politics, and the management of the Nile River, and we are thrilled to inaugurate its launch today. We are confident that the knowledge shared in this book will provide insights and understanding to the policymakers, researchers, and all individuals passionate about water management, environmental sustainability, and international relations. We have a busy afternoon ahead of us today with many distinguished speakers and panelists lined up to share their experience and insight into the Nile River and its geo and hydropolitics. We will be exploring a range of topics, including the history of the Nile River, the challenge facing river today, and the opportunities for sustainable development. The book launch will be followed by a panel discussion where we will deliver deeper into the themes discussed in the book. We have invited distinguished speakers and panelists with a diverse experience and perspectives to share their insight on the Nile River. The program has the following 3 segments. In part 1 is the welcome note from the Nile House and Georgetown University Africa Forum, followed by a book review and the author's reflection. Part 2 covers 2 panel discussions. The first panel discussion on the sustainability, science, equitable utilization of the Nile River, and development efforts. The second panel discussion covers the status of the GERD construction and negotiation, geo and hydropolitics of the Nile River Basin, and the challenges and opportunities of transboundary water management. Part 3 covers signing and networking event. Without further ado, I'll call upon the first speaker, Harmila, to the stage. Thank you.
So, Excellency Ambassador Seleshi Bekkele, Professor Derejje Tesamma, congratulations, first off. Esteemed guests and panelists, on behalf of the Africa Forum, here at the Walsh School of Foreign Service, it is my greatest pleasure to welcome you all. Thank you for taking the time out of your very busy schedules to be here with us today, as we not only celebrate Professor Tesamma for publishing his most recent book, Demystifying the Nile, How This Happened, but also to bring nuanced conversation about sustainability, equitable utilization, and transboundary water management, law, geo and hydropolitics of the Nile, and the status of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. We are honored to host this conference here at our university. For the last 13 years, since its founding, the Forum has been advancing African narratives by creating a platform where academia, policymakers, and implementers, along with leading experts from various fields, get a chance to interact and converse with graduate students and vice versa. As it was established with the mandate of empowering African youth to change the African narrative, such a timely conversation involving faculty and students could not have come or have been more aligned with what we do as an organization. This is a full circle moment for me as an individual. Not only as an African grad student studying development economics, and having previously served as a public servant, I have been at the receiving end of the damaging rhetoric of a one-sided story, as Chimamanda Ngozi would put it. A rhetoric that often portrays issues surrounding the continent and the Horn of Africa in particular in a certain light, that struggles to incorporate the intricacies that are paramount to get a full picture. However, the conversation surrounding the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam has been picking up momentum, even though the majority of the conversation has been happening in bilateral and multilateral settings. The need to bring this conversation to students by way of academic institutions is of paramount importance, and books such as these are invaluable not only in providing much-needed context for the African youth interested in understanding the complexity of transboundary resources and their management, but to also encourage and pave the way for them to pick up the proverbial pen and take ownership of their story. If nothing else, the story of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam is one of the pursuit of economic freedom and regional integration, and a standalone testament to what we as Africans can achieve when our people stand united in a common purpose. Professor Tesamma, congratulations again. And everyone that's here and our esteemed panelists, welcome.
Thank you, Harmila. Our next speaker is Dr. Iheanacho Assefa. He'll be delivering his speech via Zoom. Dr. Iheanacho is Associate Vice President for the Academic and Research Affairs, Florida University Southeast, followed by a book review by Lawrence Freeman, Political Economic Analyst for Africa. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Nile House and our partners, the Blue Nile Water Institute at Bahardar University, Gashe Publishing, the Georgetown University Africa Forum, and the Ethiopian Waters Advisory Council, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to this launching event of the book, Demystifying the Nile, History and Events Leading to the Realization of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, or GERD. As we learn from the pages of this book, the Nile is one of the most important rivers in the world, which plays a vital role in the lives and livelihoods of hundreds of millions of people in the countries it flows through. However, for centuries, the Nile has also been the subject of much misunderstanding, controversy, and dispute, particularly when it comes to the sharing of its waters. The Nile House, a think tank institution under the research arm of Florida University Southeast, is dedicated to addressing these various challenges. The Nile House is a platform that brings together experts from different countries and various disciplines to engage in constructive dialogue and propose viable solutions to the issues facing the Nile River Basin. Through research, policy analysis, and advocacy, the Nile House aims to promote sustainable and equitable management of the Nile's waters for the benefit of all. By promoting a culture of cooperation and collaboration, the Nile House seeks to bridge the gaps between different stakeholders and promote a shared vision for the Nile's future. Through its work, the Nile House hopes to contribute to the development of innovative and practical solutions that address the complex challenges facing the Nile River Basin. It is in line with these goals and hopes that the Nile House is launching the book Demystifying the Nile. This book, authored by our own Dr. Dereje Tasamma, unravels the complex geopolitical, social, and economic factors that have shaped the Nile's history and the various interests at play across time. It also explores the diverse set of events that led up to the realization of GERD, the controversy it has generated, and the technical, logistical, and managerial challenges that had to be overcome to build the dam. But this book is not just a technical or historical account. It is also a story of resilience and determination, a story of hope and collaboration as the people and governments of the basin countries work towards a common goal of harnessing the Nile's waters for their common benefits. Therefore, without further ado, I would like to invite you all to what I expect is going to be a lively discussion on the book. But before I close, I would like to thank all of you for joining us today to be part of this milestone. I would also like to thank all the speakers, panelists, and facilitators for their contribution. But most importantly, I would like to thank Dr. Dereje and congratulate him for reaching to this point after 3 years of laborious work. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to invite all of you to join us in supporting the Nile House's mission by engaging with its activities and initiatives. Together, we can ensure that the Nile remains a source of life and prosperity for generations to come. I thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the event.
I had the wonderful opportunity to visit the GERD last December in my most recent visit to Ethiopia, and it's a magnificent sight. Now, think about the wisdom of the Ethiopian people, because you had this, the Blue Nile, the Abba, has been passing through from Lake Tana for about 5 million years.